Hello, everybody. Welcome to my live stream. On today's live stream, hello, Medusa. On today's live stream, we're going to talk about the new raid bosses in Pokemon Go. As of yesterday, Niantic gave us four new raid bosses and four new tiers. Alright, we got our normal raid bosses for level 1. We got Ivysaur, which is a grass and poison type. Its max CP is 1552, and it is weak to flying, fire, ice, and psychic. And it resists grass times 2, water, electric. Go ahead, I don't care. Electric, fighting, and fairy type. Well, honestly, out of the tier 1s, sweet. Alright, sounds good. Out of the level 1s, my favorite has got to be Ivysaur, Charmeleon, and Wartortle. Only because, they're awesome. But yeah, we got Moltres, which has... These are the recommended counters for Ivysaur, which, they're all going to be fire types. Moltres, which is fire. Fire Spin Overheat. Flareon, Fire Spin Overheat. Arcanine, Fire Fang, Fire Blast. Don't know why they put Mewtwo on here, but they put Mewtwo on here with Confusion and Psychic. Alakazam with Confusion and Foresight. And Espeon with Confusion and Future Sight. I meant Future Sight, not Foresight. And the boss CP for Ivysaur is 5,238. Its capture rate is 10%. And its CP after capture is 831 to 886. Moving on, we have Charmeleon. Charmeleon's max CP can be 1,484. It is weak to ground, rock, and water. It resists fairy, ice, grass, fire, steel, and bug. And it recommended counters they said to use were Vaporeon with water gun and hydro pump. Amistar, water, rock, and ground. Rock throw and hydro pump. Golem, rock and ground type with rock throw and stone edge. Rhydon with mud slap and earthquake. Tyranitar, dark and rock. A bite with bite and stone edge. The Gyarados, Dragon Tail, and Hydro Pump. It's the Charmeleon CP is 5,085. Capture rate is 10%. CP after capture is 793 to 847. Wartortle is a water type. It is weak to grass and electric. It resists steel, fire, water, and ice. The recommended counter should be obvious. Rocco with Thunder Shock and Wall Charge. Zapdos, Charge Beam and Thunderbolt. Jolteon, Thunder Shock and Thunderbolt. Exeggutor, Bullet Seed and Solar Beam. Venusaur, Vine Whip and Solar Beam. Victreebel, Razor Leaf and Solar Beam. Boss CP is 4,503. Its capture rate is 10%. And its CP after catcher is 705 to 756. Then we're moving on to level 2 raid bosses. First up is Sandslash. It is a ground type. It is weak to water, grass, and ice. It resists poison, rock, and electric. The recommended counters for Sandslash are Lapras, which is water and ice. Its moveset is the recommended moveset is Frost Blast and Blizzard. Vaporeon, Water Gun and Hydro Pump. Gyarados, Dragon Tail and Hydro Pump. Exeggutor, Bullet Seed and Solar Beam. Venusaur, Vine Whip and Solar Beam. Victreebel, Razor Leaf and Solar Beam. Boss CP is 12,312. Capture rate is 17%. CP after capture is 1,262 to 1330 and is level 2. Next up is Tentacle. Tentacle is water and poison. Same, Frog. Same. That would be so dope. I think that's what they're going to do with Gen 3. But next up is Tentacle. It is weak to electric, ground, and psychic. It resists steel, fire, water, ice, fighting, poison, bug, and fairy type. The recommended counters are Rocco with Thunder Shock and Wall Charge, Zapdos, Charge Beam and Thunderbolt, Jolteon, Thunder Shock and Thunderbolt, Mewtwo, Confusion and Psychic, Rhydon, Mudslap and Earthquake, and Golem, Mudshot and Earthquake. The boss's CP is 12,190. Its capture rate is 17%. Its CP after capture is 1,287 to 1356. Next up is Magneton. Magneton is electric and steel, so it's weak to ground ×2, fighting, and fire. It resists steel ×2, electric, normal, poison, rock, bug, grass, psychic, ice, and dragon. The recommended counters for it are Rhydon with Mudslap and Earthquake, Golem with Mudshot and Earthquake, Sandslash with Mudshot and Earthquake, Donphan with Tackle and Earthquake, Nidoqueen with Poison Jab and Earthquake, and Tyranitar with Bite and Stone Edge. Its CP is 14,172. Its capture rate is 17%. The CP after capture is 1,208 to 1278. Next up, we have Cloister. Cloister is water and ice. It is weak to grass, electric, fighting, and rock. It resists ice ×2 and water. The recommended counters for it are Machamp, counter in close combat, Heracross, counter in close combat, Jolteon, Thundershock and Thunderbolt, Magneton, Thundershock and Discharge, Mewtwo, Confusion and Psychic, Alakazam, Confusion and Future Sight. Boss CP is 15,678. Its capture rate is 17%. Its CP after capture is 1,338 to 1,414. And I forgot the butt of this joke. The jokes. Metapod. It's weak to flying, rock, and fire. It resists fighting, ground, and grass. The recommended counters are Moltres, Fire Spin, Overheat, Ho-Oh, which isn't even in the game yet. Fire Spin and Overheat, but they're throwing that in there as a counter. Tyranitar, Bite and Stone Edge. Flareon, Fire Spin and Earth and Overheat. Arcanine, Fire Fang and Fire Blast. Typhlosion, Ember and Overheat. Boss CP is 1,534. Capture rate, there's a question mark there. CP after capture is 209 to 239. And I believe I was on Marowak. Yep, Marowak is a ground type. It is weak to water, grass, and ice. It resists poison, rock, and electric. The recommended counters for Marowak are Lapras with Frost Breath and Blizzard, Water Gun and Hydro Pump, Gyarados with Dragon Tail and Hydro Pump, Exeggutor with Bullet Seed and Solar Beam, Venusaur with Vine Whip and Solar Beam, and Victreebel with Razor Leaf and Solar Beam. Yes, Metapod hype. I covered Metapod. I forgot Metapod and I had to go back to it. There you go. And Marowak's max boss CP is 9,891. Capture rate is 17. The CP after capture is 908 to 966. For the last of the level 2s, I believe. Is this level 2? Yeah. Last of level 2s is Sableye. Sableye is dark and ghost and it only has one weakness. The one weakness is fairy. It resists psychic, normal, and poison. The recommended counters for Sableye are Grimble, which is dark and fairy, with the moveset of Bite and Play Rough. Clefable, which is normal and fairy, Pound and Moonblast. Tyranitar, which is dark and rock type, which is the recommended moveset of Bite and Stone Edge. Dragonite, Dragon Tail and Hurricane. Rhydon, Mud Slap and Stone Edge. And Gengar, Shadow Claw and Shadow Ball. The boss CP for Sableye is 8,266. Its capture rate is 17%. And its CP after capture is 694 to 745. Moving on to the level 3s, we only have few new bosses in this one. And we have Ninetales, which is a fire type. It is weak to ground, rock, and water. It resists fairy, ice, grass, fire, steel, and bug. The recommended counters for Ninetales are Vaporeon with Water Gun and Hydro Pump, Amistar with Rock Throw and Hydro Pump, Golem with Rock Throw and Stone Edge, Rhydon with Mud Slap and Earthquake, Tyranitar with Bite and Stone Edge, and Gyarados with Dragon Tail and Hydro Pump. Boss CP is 14,914. Its capture rate is 8%. CP after catcher is 1,167 to 1,233. And the next one is Scyther, which is bug and flying. It is weak to rock ×2, flying, fire, electric, and ice. It resists fighting ×2, ground ×2, grass ×2, and bug. The recommended counters for Scyther are Rhydon with Rock Smash and Stone Edge, Golem with Rock Throw and Stone Edge, Tyranitar with Bite and Stone Edge, Moltres with Fire Spin and Overheat, Hoa, which isn't even in the game yet, it's just in this app, Fire Spin and Overheat, Typhlosion, Ember and Overheat. The boss CP is 17,358. Its capture rate is 8%, and CP after catcher is 1337 to 1408. Next up is Porygon, which is a normal type, is weak to fighting and resists ghost. And Porygon can have a multi movesets. It can either have Charge Beam, which is electric, Hidden Power, or your charge moves of Solar Beam, Hopper Beam, and Zap Cannon. And your recommended counters for Porygon are Machamp, which is fighting, which has counter in close combat. It's your recommended moveset. Heracross, counter in close combat. Dragonite, Dragon Breath, and Outrage. Tyranitar, Bite and Stone Edge. Espeon, Confusion and Future Sight. And Alakazam with Confusion and Future Sight. The boss CP is 11,419. Its capture rate is 6%. And CP after capture is 840 to 895. Amistar is rock and water. It is weak to grass ×2, fighting, ground, and electric. It resists fire ×2, normal, flying, poison, and ice. The recommended counters for Amistar a Venusaur with Vine Whip and Solar Beam, Victreebel with Razor Leaf and Solar Beam, Vileplume with Razor Leaf and Solar Beam, Exeggutor with Zen Headbutt and Solar Beam, Tentacle with Vine Whip and Power Whip, and Machamp with Counter and Close Combat. The boss CP is 18,915. Its capture rate is 8%. CP after capture is 1,460 to 1,534. Moving on to the level 4 tiers. They added in 5 new bosses. First up, we got Nidoqueen, which is poison and ground. It's weak to ground, psychic, water, and ice. It resists poison ×2, fighting, bug, fairy, rock, and electric. The recommended counters for Nidoqueen are Lapras with Water Gun and Hydro Pump, Confusion, Water Gun and Hydro Pump for Lapras, Mewtwo, Confusion, and Psychic, Rhydon, Mud Slap, and Earthquake, Golem, Mud Shot, and Earthquake, Alakazam, Confusion, and Future Sight, Espeon, Confusion, and Future Sight. The boss's CP is 23,216. Its capture rate is 4%. Its CP after capture is 1,267 to 1,336. Moving on, we're going to Nidoqueen, which is ground, poison and ground, and it is weak to ground, psychic, water, and ice. It resists poison ×2, fighting, bug, fairy, rock, and electric. The recommended counters for it are the same as Nidoqueen. Got Lapras, Water Gun, and Hydro Pump, Mewtwo, Confusion, and Psychic, Rhydon, Mud Slap, and Earthquake, Golem, Mud Shot, and Earthquake, Alakazam, Confusion, and Future Sight, and Espeon, Confusion, and Future Sight. The CP for the boss is going to be 24,873. Capture rate for it is 4%. And its CP after capture is between 1,267 and 1,363. Next up, we have Poliwrath, which is water and fighting. It is weak to grass, electric, flying, psychic, and fairy. It resists steel, fire, water, ice, rock, bug, and dark. The recommended counters for Poliwrath are Exeggutor with the moveset of Bullet Seed and Solar Beam, Venusaur with Vine Whip and Solar Beam, Victreebel with Razor Leaf and Solar Beam, Rocco with Thunder Shock and Wall Charge, Zapdos with Charge Beam and Thunderbolt, and Jolteon, Thunder Shock and Thunderbolt. Its boss CP is 24,247. Capture rate is 4%. The CP after capture is 1,325 to 1,395. Next up, we have Victreebel. It is a grass and poison type. It is weak to flying, fire, ice, and psychic. It resists grass ×2, water, electric, fighting, and fairy. The recommended counters for Victreebel are Moltres, Fire Spin and Overheat, Flareon, Fire Spin and Overheat, Arcanine, Fire Fang and Fire Blast, Mewtwo, Confusion and Psychic, Alakazam, Confusion and Future Sight, and Espeon, Confusion and Future Sight. The boss CP is 23,780. The capture rate is 4%. CP after capture is 1,228 to 1,296. And the last of the new raid bosses is Golem. It is a rock and ground type. It is weak to water ×2, grass ×2, fighting, ground, steel, and ice. It resists poison ×2, normal, flying, fire, rock, and electric. The recommended counters for Golems are Vaporeon with Water Gun and Hydro Pump, Gyarados, Dragon Tail and Hydro Pump, Starmie, Water Gun and Hydro Pump, Exeggutor, Bullet Seed and Solar Beam, Venusaur, Von Whip and Solar Beam, Victreebel, Razor Leaf and Solar Beam. Its boss CP is 30,572, with a capture rate of 4%. CP after capture is 1,589 to 1,666. That's going to be doing it for this portion. Now we will go look at the CPs of the raid bosses at 100 for 100%. For Ivysaur, for 100% P, you're going to need 886. Metapod CP 100 IV CP is going to be 239. Charmeleon 100% CP is going to be 847. Wartortle 100 IV CP 756. Magneton CP for 100% IV is going to be 1,278. Sableye 100 IVCP is 745. Sandslash 100 IVCP is 1330. 1,330. Tentacle CP for 100% IV is 1,356. Marowak 100% CP is 966. Cloister 100% CP is 1,414. Level 3, we're looking at Ninetales first. 100% IV CP is 1,233. Scyther 100 IV CP is 1408. Amistar 100 IV CP is 1534. Porygon 100 IV CP is 895. Level 4, we have Poliwrath 100 IV CP is 1395. Victreebel 100 IVCP 1296. Golem 100 IVCP 1666. Nidoqueen 100 IVCP is 1363. Nidoqueen CP 100 IVCP is 1336. And yeah, that's gonna be doing it for this stream. I'll see you guys in the next one. Mitch Lang sign off. As always, stay awesome, stay positive. Peace.